Hey there, fans of Survivor Super Fun Time Show. This is an exciting day, okay? We have the Survivor 48 Super Fantasy Draft. And we're going to be doing this with some awesome folks from Octopus Island itself, Survivor 43. First, the stalwart, the pillar of the Super Fantasy Draft. She's been around since the beginning, and we're glad to have her again. This is Lindsay Carmine of the CoCo tribe, a two-time winner. Last year, she had it viciously taken away from David Jelinski, but she's back with a vengeance this time around. Lindsay, welcome back to the Super Fantasy Show.
Hi.
Yeah, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling good today. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was like super discouraged when Jelinski took the title, especially because I heard there's a belt that's involved.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. So I want to get the belt back.
Yeah. You want that beautiful pink strap across your waist like it should be, right?
I do.
That's right.
Please.
Well, in order to find out who exactly you're going to be competing to win that belt, we're going to move on to the second contestant here. Okay. It's from also the CoCo tribe on Octopus Island. Knowledge is power for this man, and he's going to show it here. This is James from Survivor 43. It's one of my favorite people to listen to on Twitter, give some commentary about Survivor, and today he's going to be doing some fantasy drafting. How are we doing today, James?
Man, that picture brought back memories. I was much slimmer. It was a very, very great time. Excited to be here. Excited for another season of Survivor. Look forward to winning. I'm very competitive. If you did not know, Lindsay's more competitive than me, but only by a little bit.
Fair.
Nah, I don't think so. I think you got the cool competitive going on right now. Like you're trying to be
under the radar competitive.
That's right. We're not falling for it, James. We're not falling for it. All right, the third opponent here. It's very exciting. Cass was almost in the inaugural one. Unfortunately, some scheduling conflicts happened, and instead today we ended up getting her for this route here. This is Cassidy Clark, Survivor 43, an immunity beast of the game. Finally, she's made her way to the Super Fantasy Show to show that she can win this too. Cassidy, welcome today to the Super Fantasy Draft.
Thank you. I'm here to claim my win. I'm tired of being second place, and I'd rather win or get third. Honestly, don't put me in second again. That's
right. Yeah,
and I decided to go by CoCo today because it's just such a cute name, and we're all here. We're all CoCos, so it's
true. And the blue hair. I mean, obviously,
yes,
you showed up.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I think in a way this is almost a cocky move from Cass, saying technically you all were CoCo, but she's CoCo, really.
I'm the everlasting CoCo.
She was the last one. She has not been voted out.
But I would be nothing without these two incredible folks. Truly my favorite people from CoCo, and just of all time too. They're just so amazing, and I'm so excited to be here with them and with you, Kevin. Thank you for hosting and having us. This is such a fun reunion, and I can't wait to go back and compete against them, though.
Heck yeah, I'm always ready to yap about this with you fine people, and it seems like we're gonna have a pretty good situation. We're gonna be analyzing, we're gonna be strategizing some of this, and there's gonna be some other random Survivor chatter pretty much thrown in the middle of it all, because we can't just do straight picks. That's gonna get boring after a while, right? But now, before we actually get into the picks themselves, so we're going to go over the rules super duper quick. I've briefed the castaways pretty quickly. Here we see the kind of the layout here. All right, it's going to be a little bit different in a second, but the scoring, a point for placement, advanced. So what that means is, if you're the first boot, you get 1 point for that player. If you get the person who wins, you're going to get 18 points for that player. And so having the winner is really important, but it's not really everything. If you have 4 out of the 5, except for the winner, you're going to get a lot of points, even though you don't have them. Now, forgotten advantage, if you get any kind of anything that's an advantage that's not an idol, essentially, whether it's knowledge is power, whether that's safety without power, honestly, a bunch of different things these days, because the new era is running wild with advantages. So you get a point for that. Individual immunity, get some points. I know last season, Tim, in the Super Fantasy Draft, he didn't do super great with his picks, but boy, he picked Kyle, and that really pushed him through for a little while. Same thing for playing an idol, and you get bonus points if your idol actually hits. And what I mean by that is it has to be an idol that actually saves someone from the majority of the votes. If they just get one vote and the UD was used on that person, that doesn't really count. That means it failed. Quitters get nothing. That's the way it goes. We'll call it the Hannah Rose rule. 3 points for winning fire. And you know what? Forget it. We'll do a point for if they reference Jelinski. We love a good Jelinski reference around here, right?
Do we get any points for Medivacs? No Medivac points.
Ooh, so
what do you know, James? What do you know?
I know nothing. I know nothing.
You know, I'll make a. Oh, I did hear a rumor about one Medivac, so this will be interesting.
What?
Yeah, I heard a rumor, a pure rumor. I don't.
Google's rumor.
That makes me think James also heard the rumor, and maybe we shouldn't.
James has heard no rumors.
He's already not getting the grenades, so we can't like give him too much.
I'm gonna Google it. Hold on.
No, don't Google it. I think, and if it's
Lindsay is the person that put me on Reddit Survivor. I knew nothing about it. Lindsay put me on.
Wow. Yeah, I have to say, if it's true, it's going to be someone that I'm going to be heartbroken that doesn't get to stay in the game.
Don't believe any of that stuff. It's all lying. Like I realized,
ChatGPT says it hinted at a possible medevac during a challenge. Host Jeff Probst yelled, "Stop medical."
He yells that every year.
Yeah, he yells all the time.
I agree.
It's true. He's like fancy with
on
that.
Your head. He's like medical.
Yeah.
Did anybody get medical? Oh yeah, I think Carla got medical in our season. Was that it?
She had a jacked up finger or something, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just hope it's not the case because this is the person that I heard. I think I'm gonna really like them, and I don't want to go anywhere. So hopefully not. But you know what we'll say if they get medevaced? I'll say it's not their fault. It's not quitting unless they say, you know, I'm pulling myself from the game. You get 0 points if you say I'm pulling myself from the game. If Jeff says we're pulling you from the game, you get points. We'll call it that. Okay.
That's fair.
All right. That's easy enough. All right. So, but as you can see here from this beautifully designed scoreboard by me, we have the picking order here too. We have James, who has slot number 1, which means he goes first, but he also goes last. And then you have Cass going second, middle spot.
Oh, how ironic.
Yeah, it's the middle spot. Well, man. And third, we got Lindsay, who, to be fair, she doesn't need any kind of advantage. Yeah, she gets back-to-back picks, but she has been a consistent winner. So at the very least, she's not going to get her first pick this go around. She is a wily vet in this game. So I think it's only fair she ends up with 3. Now, the question is, looking at these fine, fresh pups at the bottom, you got to think to yourself, who's giving you the best vibes right now? Who's feeling really good? What tribes are speaking to you? Because the disaster tribe, there's always one. Which one will it be? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
I think I know.
This thing at the bottom is very, very helpful. Like, I thought I had to go through my phone to kind of look at people. So now I'm good. All right, cool.
Nah, you can sit back and chill. You keep looking cool, man. I got you. All right. So then the question is, all right, so there's no formal clock or anything like that. We don't have to do that. However, the question is, James, where do you think you're at with your pick right now? Do you feel like you have one in mind? I know
what my first pick is.
You know what your first pick's going to be?
Yeah, I go off statistics.
You go off statistics?
Yep.
Wait, hold on. Explain your pick before you say it, because I'm curious.
I could be going off. I mean, most of the winners in the new era have been women, right? They're correct. Like I think
accurate,
possibly. Typically, women from Canada do well.
Also accurate.
And is there a woman from Canada on the cast?
Yes, there is.
I mean, I haven't seen a Canada person get kicked out pre-merge yet, so I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think you're right. I don't think there has been one.
They're nice people. They're nice people.
Yeah, they are.
You're not wrong.
Because what? Right. Erica won 41, 42.
Marianne.
Oh, Mary. She's the winner. Okay. 43.
Genevieve got 5, and we got another.
Who is the Canadian this season?
Camilla.
Spit it out.
It's
Camilla. Camilla's my first pick. Sorry, spoiler.
Okay. You're going with what? Cash rushed this one. She's like, I'm gonna pick. Let's go.
No. He was like building up so much suspense, and I was like, I don't think I remember somebody saying that from Canada, and I don't want it to be my person, my girl that I like, so I was nervous and I just wanted to know.
No, that's
I was doing a good tease, but yeah, that's my rationale. I feel like that they're the Grim Reapers of the game. If you let a Canadian person get far, they're gonna win or do really damage. Gotta get rid of them.
All right. Well, Cass and Linz, what do you think of that pick then?
Well, I'm actually glad he took her because she's on my no list for a couple of reasons. I definitely support and agree, James, saying that everybody from Canada makes it pretty far and they're successful. These are the things that stuck out to me for why I don't think she's going to win. I don't think she's going to have any patience. She hates Boston Rob. She thought he was handed a win. She doesn't think he's worthy of Mount Rushmore. She's a gamer. She actually reminds me of Wendy Diaz. And while I think she was a fun character to watch, I don't think that translated well into the game. She did say that she prefers smart moves versus big moves, and I think that is going to help her in the game. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Man, you think she's like Big Wendy, huh?
I mean, the smart move versus big move thing, I think I remember seeing that, but that's my mantra. Like, if a big move gets you voted out the next week, is it really a big move or is it just big TV? Good TV is great. Like,
I couldn't agree with that more.
You have to separate the two. Like, good TV necessarily doesn't mean good move. Like, it's still a good move, but it doesn't. Like, the two can be different.
And that's
I think that's
producers. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say that's one of the things I think producers try to push you towards is like making big TV moves, and a lot of the times, and I think our season actually got a lot of flack for that because we were making the smart moves for ourselves and not necessarily the ones that were making these big TV moments. And I think that there was like a slight bit of like resentment or just like frustration from the producers of like us all just like really trying to make the smartest moves possible and not giving them good enough TV, which is fair. Like, you're putting on a TV show, of course that is important. But for me, as a huge like lifelong fan and somebody who was taking this very seriously, I wasn't just on there to be good TV. Yes, I wanted that to be a component, but I wanted to win the game. And I was not going to let me trying to make good TV mess that up. If I did not feel like they weren't going to coincide well, I'm going to make the more quiet, smart move because like that is what matters the most to me at the end of the day. So,
which is really interesting. I think it's interesting because when I really look back at it, I think 43 had a lot of kind of big-ish and smart moves at the same time. I think there were like each week it seemed like it was a little more unpredictable, but there was some serious logic to a lot of them. I mean, Jesse with even just like idol plays is pretty huge. And I mean, I don't think there's more famous idol plays than 43 from the new era, at least.
I actually kind of, I would have to agree.
Except for probably, right? Maybe 45 with D betraying Austin at that one.
I feel like this was like it was like a level of just, it wasn't his idol. Like, it wasn't like
it was at one point.
Like, it was like that was a crazy move just watching that, and it's just sitting there like, wow. And I mean, it was a great move. I feel like every season has its move, and I feel like that's the thing our season probably will remember the most for.
Absolutely. All right, so Cass, I have to say, it's your turn now. So you've been thinking about this. Camilo probably wasn't your pick, right?
No, she wasn't really on my radar.
That's why she's going to win.
Exactly what she had said in one of her videos that like made me not feel like I needed to pick her. But there was like one or two things that I didn't necessarily agree with, and I didn't write them down, unfortunately, so I don't remember. Sorry, but she was not on my radar, so I'm fine with that. Maybe that'll come back to bite me, but you can have her, James.
That's right. She said, "Take your trash."
No, oh my god.
I'm kidding around. I actually really like Camilla.
She's amazing, and
I like her too.
But, it's like, listen, I struggle so much with like judging people harshly from these like beginning like introductions because I feel like I wasn't received that well with our introductions. And so I just feel like a lot of the
Cassidy,
times, like,
you got voted like best cast photo. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. But like cast photo is very different than like how are
She's
you
like, oh yeah,
a
that.
player? I think okay. The cast photo, that's okay. That's true. That was pretty epic. I'm very grateful to have gotten like that type of reception with my cast photo, but I felt like people didn't take me very seriously as a player at the beginning, you know?
Okay, fair.
And you know, I did talk about energy a bit and yada yada, and I guess a lot of people don't take that seriously, but I struggle to like really make harsh judgments at the beginning because I want to see them play. Like there's only so much you can get from somebody's video and like the way that they describe themselves. It's like when you see it in action, that's when I really like after the first or second episode, I feel like I can form better opinions. But I try to be pretty open-minded and like give people grace at these beginning videos. So I'm never gonna be like have like a super hot take or strong opinion maybe like during this first or second like you know, round of introductions. But that being said, there are still things that like draw me towards people and put me off of people from the beginning. So
absolutely.
No,
I mean,
I know it's
that's
so
the
boring.
biggest
It's like,
thing.
oh my God, just say something.
No.
Polarizing,
It's important to say because you all from the Castaway perspective, I mean, especially kind of go, I don't want to keep going to this well, but 43 had, you know, a poor reception to some degree afterward in comparison to some other seasons. And I mean, you've been in the part where, you know, new introductions happen and you're like, all right, wide-eyed looking at social media and hoping that it's a positive reception and not necessarily that way. And you're not used to that. So, you know, you now on the other side of it, I think it's great and respectful that, you know, you all go like, I remember it's really just, this is almost based on nothing.
Yeah, of course. And it's like, yeah, I mean, especially being somebody who's been in that situation, like having empathy for these players is very like, it's I feel like it's a natural reaction because you've been there, but like it's also important just to like remember that they are people and this is their first time on TV and it's like very exciting and new and it is hard to see like harsh because people can be so brutal online. Like it's crazy and like for no reason. So I try to be one of those people that like, you know, raises them up a bit more, but like I'm still gonna have my opinions here and there, but I'll probably be pretty nice for the most part, I think.
Well, that's awesome. All right, so I guess the question is at number 2 pick, who are you going to be the nicest to right now? Yeah,
okay, I have. This is so hard because I really don't want these other people to be taken, but
it's part of strategy. Who's gonna last?
I had my tops, and then I saw this guy's video, and I was like, I was just drawn to him, and I'm like, oh, I love him a lot, and I think I feel the best about him. I go off vibes a lot, as I said in my my original video, and this guy gave me really good vibes, and that person is gonna be Tom.
Ooh.
Also, I was like looking for Tom's video on the CBS Instagram, and I was like, why haven't they posted him yet? And then like 10 minutes later, they posted him. So I was like, that's got to be a sign. But basically, I feel like he's got a fun energy, but he's also calming, like in a way that is like kind of really, I think would be really nice on the island because there's so much going on. It's very hectic. And when somebody can kind of like bring you down and like be calming, but like also still have like a fun presence, I think that is something that could go a long way. And I think he seems very intelligent and well-spoken, but he's also funny. And I think that, one of the things he said in his video was people think that he likes them more than he actually does or something like that. And
Yes.
that speaks to him being able to connect with people and like draw people in. And I think people are going to want to like, there were certain people in our season where I felt like drawn to them and I didn't know why. And I was afraid to go against them and I didn't understand why. And it was like, they just had this charisma or they had this energy that made you want to work with them. And I think he's one of those people. So
I'm dying to know what James is laughing at.
yeah, come on, James, spit it out.
James has an idea.
Because James, are you saying you're one of those people? Because you are.
I'm not. I got voted out way too early to be one of those people.
You are for me.
He's like, what I have can't be
Those
taught.
are my thoughts on Tom. I just feel good about him. I think that he could go far. Whether he could win or not, I don't know. But like, he seems like he could convince you to vote for him at the end. I think he has strong like persuasion skills and he seems like well-spoken. And I think those things are important. And as long as he isn't perceived as like a big backstabber, which I think he had mentioned might be his Achilles heel as well as his strength is his like connection to people, but that might be perceived as like people might take that to heart because they really felt connected to him. So it could bite him, but I don't know. I like Tom.
It's a good. I think it's a great pick. James, you had your hand up there. You want to jump in?
No one trusts people with mustaches. Like the trust level just automatically goes down. When's the last time you trusted someone?
He does look kind of villainous in this picture, but I think mustaches they have a huge comeback. I don't know if you've been around, James, but like mustaches are everywhere nowadays. So it's like if you can't trust anybody with a mustache, then you can't trust like 1 out of 3 men, you know, which is actually
that's making that data up.
Statistics say that's probably true. Yeah.
That is a very made up statistic.
That is a very okay, but
it's 100% made up. But they're back in style.
Honestly, like when I first saw Tom's photo and I started reading his bio, I didn't even want to listen to his interview because I was like, I'm not going to like him. Like, let me just not even waste my time and skip over him. And I am so glad that I watched his video because it completely changed my mind about him. I thought he was like funny, and I think he's gonna be like the comedic relief that his tribe needs out there on the island. I think he's a great pick. I didn't have him as one of my top picks for that tribe, but he was definitely in my thumbs up category. So,
and I think that's the thing is like I didn't even waste time reading people's bios because I feel like there's so much that can be misunderstood with like just words on a screen versus like the way people actually say and present those words and those facts about themselves, and like feeling their energy is so important because that is like so much of Survivor is somebody's energy and the presence that they bring, the dynamic, and I feel like that helps me make so much of my decision. And so after seeing that video, I was like in love with him. I don't know.
And also, he's, real quick, I have to mention, I don't know if you don't know this. Apparently, he's really good buddies with Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Oh, cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, he's a music exec.
I mean, he is in the music industry.
He is. Yeah.
Or he does the composition part of it. He's specified that it's not necessarily like the record label, but the other part.
Hey.
I was listening, Tom.
I'm curious, now that y'all have played the game, do you guys, when you're even just like picking your favorites for the season, do you guys notice that you put people in like 2 different categories? And one is like people whose personalities I really enjoy and I know I'm going to love watching them, but it's not going to translate well out on the island, versus like I love their personality and I know it's gonna fit well out on the island with like other players, because you guys know like what personalities are gonna rub you the wrong way and which ones you'd vibe with, especially because you guys are such likable people and you guys have like good judgment and people. And
Lindsay's like somebody speak up.
No, I feel like the lower the maintenance someone feels, just like the better you think they're going to do in the game, just in general. Like if someone seems like they're easy breezy versus someone that maybe looks like they haven't, shoveled snow or like took out the garbage. Like, it's like you it's like you thin slice people when you look at them, regardless whether you want to like it or not. If you see, if that person is pretty, they may think this, or that person has muscles and they do that. Like, because it's like you automatically make those kind of judgments when you're just looking at people. So,
Sorry, I was saying one thing that I've realized is that there's so much of it is up to chance. Yeah. And so I struggle like to be decisive on like their personality is going to get them in trouble. Cause like there are certain characteristics where I'm like, yeah, that's probably gonna get them into trouble. But there's also personalities that I necessarily wouldn't think would make it to the end. Like, for example, like Marianne. Her personality is a little bit intense at the beginning, and she's obviously so lovable, but that could definitely rub people the wrong way when they're tired and hungry and yada yada. And she went on to win. So I think that it really just depends on the dynamic of the other tribes and like who you're playing with.
Yep.
Didn't you guys hear somebody say during their interview that they almost want to be annoying out there because none of the annoying people get voted out early? And they were like, I'm almost like, why don't I just be the annoying one? That way they keep me around, because the most annoying people.
I feel like trying to be something you're not is like a sure way to like bite yourself in the ass. Because I think people sense the inauthenticity, and whether you're being inauthentic, trying to like be annoying or whatever it is, people will sense that, and they won't necessarily know that you're just like trying to tweak your personality a little bit in order to be more perceived in a certain way, I feel like they'll just see it as shady in general. Like they'll feel like a weird energy from you if you're being inauthentic, no matter how you are being inauthentic.
I don't think it's authentic. I think more about like things that would actively or outwardly annoy us in everyday life. We have to hide on the island. Like think about how many times you just literally had to like bite your tongue or walk away. I won't give specifics, but it's almost like I'm not going to outwardly be annoying, but I'm also not going to hide my annoyance or not speak up because I don't want to ruffle feathers. Like I'm going to let like that side fly because I don't care about rubbing people the wrong way.
Sometimes I think it's also about like, cementing your place, right? So if I'm clearly beefing with somebody and I don't like that person, it's sending a signal that, to the other side that I'm with you. So I think sometimes that can be a good thing. Like if I know this person's annoying this person, there's a good chance that they're not going to work together, hopefully. And that helps me understand and maybe trust this person more. So I think there's like, as opposed to the person that is like cool with everybody, then that person maybe you're a little more suspicious of. Right. So it just kind of always depends on kind of how you're feeling in the game and just the dynamics.
Yeah. And who you're put with, because things that may annoy one person aren't going to annoy another, right?
No, it's all about the mix of personalities. I mean, obviously, I've been out there, but just group dynamics in general, for sure, absolutely. I love hearing the insight from you all about your experience on the CoCo. It's actually pretty exciting having the three of you from the original starting tribe because you can speak to that experience all together, rather than
I can speak about annoying people. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
That happens. Everyone's, every tribe got them, I'm sure, right?
I mean, look.
So, Kev, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I thought about this, and maybe I could be wrong, but you probably know or pay attention more. I think our season is the only season where like each tribe like stayed together for like 8 straight days. Like, is that without going to tribal? Like, is that because like Vessi went twice. No, Baka went first and then didn't go back.
9 days, by the way, James.
Right. So then Vessi went twice and didn't go back. Right. And then we went the last 2 times. But so the first cycle, we were all there together. Then Baka was all there together. And then Vessi was all there together. I don't know if this ever like happened in that kind of order. Just random thought.
I don't know. That is a good random thought. I gotta think about that. 43 has some gems that people like to try to undercut, and that may be another one. Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
So I think that played a lot into like the dynamics going into the merge, just because you were like there was no breakup. If you're there like 8 straight days, it's kind of like you're cemented.
Yeah, at least that's what I thought. Except for Gabler dropping a Ellie bomb. Yeah, what happened with that? Still blows my mind. It seemed like the obvious move, but I don't know. I guess if you're in Gabler's spot, that
those are just like personalities clashing too. Like that not even necessarily was the smart move. I mean, it worked out for him at the end because he won, but like it may not have necessarily been like what people would perceive as the smartest move, but like he was so annoyed by her and Janine that he was just like willing to risk like splitting up his numbers in order to get her out. So that's like another testament to like, you never know how people's personalities are going to rub each other.
Yeah, I think it was also just a gut move on just trust, like old school kind of Survivor where like, who do I just like, I mean, numbers are great, but who do I trust? Even though I know they may not be 100% with me, I can trust where they're at right now, or they're more for me than this person is at this present moment, as opposed to this person is my guaranteed number. Which
why was Gabler not worried about putting a target on himself by throwing out Ellie's name?
Because he was, I'm pretty sure, like, who was going to take Gabler out? Like, I mean, who was going to rally the votes?
I think he was worried to some degree. I mean, obviously, you can speak to it better than me, but from what I've gathered, it seems like he was worried a little bit. He had been waiting a long time to kind of confront Ellie about that, I guess. And really, it kind of got washed away, according to him, really, because he won the next immunity. So he kind of got pushed down.
Right. He also, I think, had like some sort of, at his first tribal, I don't know if it was still in effect in this tribal, but he had won an advantage or something that like made him safe for the first tribal that he went to.
That was his immunity. So
he knew that tribal he was safe, I think. And so I think that was a reason why he was willing to like put his neck out, because he knew he couldn't go home, or even if that advantage was expired, people thought it wasn't. And so he felt like he had some sort of like immunity in that one. And then, you know, I guess he was just going to figure it out as it went along. But like, honestly, everybody was just trying to get somebody else out, because nobody wanted it to be them necessarily. And I feel like there was so much chaos going on at that time in, you know, with the tribes merging, that it wasn't necessarily like, oh, we're all gonna like gang up on Gable after this because he called somebody out. It was more of like, I'm just so glad it's not me now. Let's move on. And like, let's just try to get this game rolling again. At least that was my perspective. I think the people that would have more beef with him would be like the Baka people after that. But I think they were just like so fragmented after that. It was just like, we're just all trying to figure it out and survive. I don't know.
You loved it. Chaos Cast Part 2 right here.
Let's go.
There we go. All right. Let's speaking on to the next thing. Lindsay's got 2 back-to-back picks. She's got 3 and 4 because they're doing a snake style draft, just like in a fantasy football draft. So we have Camilla and Tom off the board. I'll update the board after Lindsay's 2 picks here so that everyone knows who's taken and where. But the question is, for pick number 3, do you think you have that ready? Who's speaking to you?
Okay, so I feel like season 48 is going to be the season where we bring back alliances and we stay loyal to them till the end instead of turning on our number ones.
No.
With that said, my first duo that I think is going to take it to the finish line is Bianca.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Shaheen?
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 At least I think it's
James, what is this? What is this? I don't know if you're like, good job, or you just took my
Don't read into me. I like Shaheen. We had a nice,
I'm obsessed. I've got some notes and thoughts. Who do we want to start with, Bianca or Shaheen?
Shaheen, alternate for Survivor 46. All right. How about you start with Bianca, then we'll go to Shaheen, okay?
Ladies first. I love it.
Okay,
so she's a PR consultant. She's an Italian Jersey girl, which I absolutely love. I love the people that she said she wants to play, like Dee, Kinsey, Mary Ann, and Michelle. She goes off of vibes, which, I mean, Cassidy and James, like that was our theme. But she won't trust anyone. She loves cooking, herbs, beaches, reading, and games. She went to roller coaster camp. I think that's cute. Yeah. So she's like an enthusiast of like just thrill. I think she's hilarious. But most importantly, working in PR means you have to have strong communication skills and you have to be strategic. And I think those are 2 skills that are going to translate really well into the game for her. So that is my winner pick.
Oh, she's your straight out winner pick.
I don't know. I kind of think a guy's going to win this year.
Well,
or this
according
season.
to Mitch, yeah.
So, okay, Shaheen. I love him. He's a lawyer and he's a debate professor, or he was a lawyer. Here's what I really loved about him, and this is something rare. You don't hear it a lot. He admits that he has some really harebrained ideas. He's like, I want somebody that's going to call me out and tell me that my ideas are dumb. Somebody that's going to take my ideas and turn it into better ideas. I love that he said that Wednesday nights are our church because he watches Survivor with his family, which I could really relate to. But I think, Cass, this is where it says everyone thinks that they're his friend and that he's their number one, and they get really disappointed when they find out that he doesn't care about them as much as they care about him. So I'm wondering if that's going to be an issue for jury management. But he has a very high emotional IQ. So
I could see that from him.
Yeah.
He also, he's like another one that was outside the game. I guess it was like a famous thing where like he was dating someone like a lot older and there was some weird controversy or something. I don't know. I wish.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know. He was part of a news story. Randomly, they were like, nothing he did. It was what they did.
I'm gonna look this up. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's not like creepy. He didn't sexually assault anybody. Like nothing like that. Okay.
He was the young person. I'm not saying like underage, but he was like 19 and they were like 35 or 36 or something. Someone who's kind of famous. I don't know.
Okay.
I should have more details as I bring these things up, I suppose, huh?
All right.
Yeah, but regardless, I think Shaheen's a really good pick. He's someone I don't know. I can't really tell because I'll be honest with you. The Purple Tribe, Loggy. I think there's a lot of bombs you can step on here. I'm not super confident in this tribe. They're either going to be one of the best groups of characters out there, or they're going to be and maybe a total disaster.
There's a lot of big personalities
Big
on that tribe.
Big.
That are
Like
very, that seem
Shaheen
very
and Tom.
different.
That's going to be big. You know, Star's a big personality. Bianca, you know, even Eva to some degree, you know, I can see it. But usually, like, have you all noticed that, like, the pattern? Usually on, like, the odd seasons, the yellow tribe is a little bit more the coconuts tribe, and in even seasons, it's usually the purple ones. Fascinating.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
true.
noticed.
I don't know. Although 43, it's up for debate who the coconut tribe is, to be honest. But probably Baca. I'd still pick it, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who would you guys say is the craziest tribe from our season? Who had the most drama?
I feel like the most dysfunctional was Baca, but they ended up winning a lot of immunity, so it didn't really matter. But like throughout the whole season, I would say Baca probably had the most drama between each other, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
We had a little bit, but like I feel like there was like me, you, Carla, and I guess Ryan like rocked it out pretty far, and then there was always that drama with me and Carla at the end. But I feel like I don't know, there wasn't any like super chaotic tribe, but I do think that like maybe Baca, just because of I don't know. What do you guys say?
I think because we won, it kept us together. I think had we been losing, I think there would have been a lot more drama on our tribe. Honestly, I feel like things, and I wasn't even there, but I think things probably lightened up once Gio was off the island. And I'm not saying that because I think Gio's a problem. I just think maybe there was less drama.
It's just the chemistry of the group makeup. Yeah.
Truthfully, when you play Survivor, like if you want, like you kind of want to lose that second immunity. I feel like if you for selfish, like, you know, screen time reasons and just storytelling reasons, I feel like the second immunity is the one to lose if you're going to go on the show.
That's the key. Make sure win the first one, lose the second one.
Yeah. I mean,
you experience tribal, you know, you chill, you win a reward, like you're good. You're good.
You know, that's what I think about with like sports a lot of times. You know, if you have a perfect season before the playoffs, you're probably going to get kicked in the teeth. So get one out of the way like a week or two before, and you know, you're ready. You experience the loss. All right.
That's what I said about the Eagles. I was like, we almost need like a really bad loss to like shake us into the right headspace for playoffs.
Yeah, woo! Go Eagles!
That's right, why I wear my jersey tonight for y'all.
I was so excited. My boyfriend is a Cowboys fan, and so he was like obviously kind of dreading the Eagles winning a little bit, but I was rooting for the Eagles the whole time. Like mainly because I didn't really care, and I thought, you know, James and Lindsay are both, you know, obviously probably Eagles fans. So I was like, that's who I'm rooting for. That's how fair weather a football fan I am. But I do like football. I just like don't have a team that I really care that much about. So I kind of go for like, like what am I feeling in the moment? Who do we got? And what variables can I relate to within these teams? And that was so Eagles I did pick.
You need to ask yourself, do I care about my friend's mental health? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes.
Then you've just got to ask for an Eagles win.
Yeah, and that's of course what I wanted.
Absolutely.
James, did you go to the parade?
I didn't. I was in the trenches for the first win. I still remember probably going a little too hard. I do think, Cass, I feel like you should like take your football talent to gambling and go on FanDuel and just choose a parlay every couple of weeks to see how it works out for you.
Do I have a good football?
You may.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, gambling is 50-50 anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I think it's important when you're betting on things like to have some level of like objectivity or like just like not caring that much, because I feel like that's when you can really like see where the energy is and like what like I don't know. So maybe I would be good at it because I feel like when you don't care as much, that's whenever like it kind of works in your favor. When you care too much and you want something too bad, sometimes like that gets in your way. So
yeah, you can't get blinded by fandom or hatred. That's pretty key, honestly, when you're trying to make those picks. I mean, but
well, I think there's a lot of similarities in gambling and football and doing like March Madness picks and fantasy football draft and going out and playing Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, this girl in my boyfriend's like fantasy league, she doesn't really watch, like she watches football like lightly, but she plays in the draft and she's won like 3 years in a row, like just picking random people. She just like doesn't know who they are. She just picks them and she's won like 3 times. So there's something to it.
That's
Science
insane.
has to study it. If it's studyable.
Before I like got into sports and like new teams, in my 20s, I picked what city I'd rather be in for like a football draft, and I won like $2,000 that year because I just didn't put that much thought into it.
Yeah, you just let the universe send its energy back.
Sometimes like you got when you have a lack of resistance, it just flows in.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Speaking of flow, I think we got to.
I know.
For the number 5 pick to Cassidy.
Yes.
So the question is, who's flowing towards you right now?
Okay. This is hard for me because I'm a girl's girl. I love women. I want a woman to win again. I'm so proud of all the women that have won. But I am picking another man. I don't know.
The controversy online is already brewing.
You're such a woman hater, Cass.
Canceled.
There's women that I'm like praying y'all don't pick because I need them so bad. But the reason I'm picking this guy is because his story spoke to me. And I relate to him because so I'm picking Joe. I know, same tribe. Wow. I may as well pick everybody from the same tribe, so I'm like have less of a chance of getting the grenade. But I think
better hope you don't end up with Lulu tribe picks over here, putting all your stock into them.
Yeah, fair. But so first of all, like I really liked Joe's energy and his spirit. He seemed calm, compassionate. He's a dad, so he's got that sort of like nurturing energy. But he's also a firefighter, so he's got his own like badassery. And I think that but the main thing that drew me to him is he was out there for his sister because his sister passed away. And obviously like one of the big things that I was out there fighting for was like, or the thing that that inspired me and pushed me through like every moment of the game was my sister who had also passed away. And I feel like I tapped into her energy so much out there, and like my hardest moments I called on her. And so I relate to that so much, and like him doing it for his sister just really spoke to me. And I felt like I'd be remiss not to pick him just because I'm right there with him. And I really hope that his journey is everything that he wants it to be, and that he's able to like connect with her and just like feel her out there like I did with my sister, because it was like such a special experience after she passed to be able to like really connect with her in that way. And so that's why I picked Joe. That's like more of an emotional reason why I picked Joe. But I also think that he's got some good statistics. I think that he seems really level-headed, and yes, like his like sort of archetype is threatening in the game, but he's a little bit older, he's in his 40s, and so maybe that will like dial down his threat level like a little bit, because I think he does have like I don't know. I think that there's definitely potential for him. And if he plays it right, I think he can go far. I think, that's my tea on Joe so far.
I think he's going to have a lot of rope in the beginning of the game, especially with this tribe. I mean,
yeah,
they're going to look.
Towards the end, I know it's risky with this type of guy, but it's been a while since we've seen this type of guy win. So
yeah, everybody wants to take the firefighter dad to the end. I mean, everybody want to take Jesse to the end. So
I know.
Yeah.
But you know what? Whatever.
Can I say though, he is a sweet guy, because I like every once in a while I do preseason videos, like just like general vibe checks, kind of like this. And I did one for him, and I just basically said a lot of the same things that Cass said. And he reached out. He's like, I just want to let you know that was so nice. It filled my cup. It was just incredible, and that doesn't happen all that often. Like one time I talked about Jelinski, and I said, looks like a big whooping crane, and he reached out and he was like, man, that was funny. I was like, okay, now I like Jelinski. He's got a sense of, So when Joe responded, I was like, all right, basically everything you just said, Cass, I think confirmed it, tenfold. So I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
James is here with all the statistics. I don't know. That might bite him in the ass in the end. He's just not going off any emotion.
I don't know. We got to see here. James is next up, so let's see what his calculations are saying.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Well, hold on. Let me talk about Joe real quick.
Oh, you want to talk about Joe, Lindsay?
Yes. Lindsay.
Yeah. Do you guys think he reminds you of Dom?
I could see a little bit.
Okay. Well, so just some notes.
He seems a little bit more like not that Dom wasn't. I feel like Dom was like a slightly more cold than this man appears to me.
Okay.
Oh,
he's the one that called Gabler Dittler.
You called him Hitler? Oh, Joseph.
Okay, this is why I'm so angry. He referred to Gabler as a surgeon, and I know I should not care about this, but as a nurse, it really drives me crazy.
He's a trans cath specialist. Isn't he like a medical, essentially like medical sales?
Yes, and he's wonderful. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's
the
why
skills that he provides in the OR is fascinating. I just, it's not a surgeon, and
that's okay. But that's on Joe. Joe, you screwed up.
Yeah, I love that Joe used the word butthole in his interview.
I did see that right before I picked. I was like,
how can you not like him? But is he going to pull a Bruce? And I mean, James and I were shocked at
crack his head open.
We didn't feel we were the oldest out there, but to get out there and you don't feel old, you don't feel like you're acting old, but you do come across as old. Even John Lovett, when he was out there, people had no idea who he was. They thought he was some, old washed up guy, and he wasn't. And I'm just wondering, is Joe going to be able to relate to the younger castmates out there?
Lindsay, you got to do your research. His tribe is kind of old. They have a bunch of, the two other, just saying, the two other guys are in their 30s. Okay. So it's not that big of a, difference. Me and these numbers,
What about when he merges, though?
This is a unique Survivor New Era cast. I noticed that most of their people are 28 and above. There's very few youngins out there. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to make the game different, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The butthole comment does make me a little nervous about him being able to relate to younger people, but other than that,
I think talking about butthole makes you more relatable to younger people.
Okay.
It's just a dad thing to say.
Yeah, it's not talking about a butthole. It's a way you refer to the butthole as butthole, I guess.
Instead of saying asshole, he was butthole.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And
that's
love
a fair
that.
point. Okay.
I think it's endearing.
So Cass hates old people too.
That's right.
Guys, I'm going to do a timeout real quick. You guys can make the pick or not. I just have to use the ladies' room.
Oh, okay. Solid. Well, actually, kind of an interesting thing, James, what you're talking about. I decided one day to run a bunch of stats. This past off season, I was I should, a lot of these things I've been thinking about. Let me see if I can try to get them down. And one of them was this cast. This cast is old as hell, dude. This is the 10th oldest cast ever.
Wow, that's crazy. You're so right. That's kind of interesting. I'm
including returning seasons where Winners at War, where they're all old as dirt,
Yeah.
I don't think Survivor does things by mistake. So I think, they had younger tribes. I think they want to try this kind of out. So
yeah.
This is the oldest cast since season 21.
I'm kind of excited. Maybe they're hoping for a more old school vibe, because they've been getting a lot of guff for it being too new school and too these young game body type of players, and now maybe they're looking to bring back more of an old school vibe, in order to please the audience, but also just return to the roots a little bit and see kind of how older players play in this new era without calling it old
Survivor.
Yeah. Oldies versus
yeah. Because Probst, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to go back to the old ways, but maybe this is his way of dipping his toe in the water, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Being
maybe was it all character to me? Let's see.
Yeah, it's always been a social experiment. So I think some of the things they look at, us personality, age, experience, all those things when it comes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm dying to know, James.
So James, you get to go back to back. All right. So what we're gonna do is, just to give you a heads up before you make that pick, we're gonna do your pick. We're gonna speed through round 3, as well. And then I want to ask you a little bit about some of the loose voting for Survivor 50, and then we'll speed through the rest. Okay.
Cool beans.
Awesome. Okay. So back to back, James. Finish out round 2 and start round 3. Who we feeling?
So I'm going with Say and I'm going with Mary. Back to back women.
Bula.
I think Survivor, I'm going with the superior species. The superior gender as always. Say Philly, South Philly. There's no other, there's no other explanation needed. She's going to be fierce. She's going to be Philly. I genuinely can't wait to see, how people respond to Philadelphia energy, because Philadelphia energy is very unique. Like, it can be very loving at times, it can be harsh at others, and you can be interpreted one way or interpreted the other way. Like, our loyalty can sometimes not seem so loyal, or our loyalty can seem like it's, a little too much. So let's say Mary, Mary's a character. The first person that captioned a Survivor picture, rate this rotation. rate this blunt rotation.
Oh yeah. Man, she's unhinged, bro. Like, they did the popularity rankings yesterday, and I think she got like a 69% approval rating, and all she did was quote it and say 69.
Well, I mean,
yeah, she's funny. I like her a lot.
Mary
kind of salty
is,
picture, but
Mary is great. I had a chance to interact with Mary before. I think she's dope. Like, I feel like she's one of those people that can probably get along with everybody. I think she's a substance abuse counselor. Is that correct? Am I?
Yeah.
So when you're able to, I feel like, to do things like that, one, you have to have a big cart. You have to be really genuine, because people are not going to open up to you. They don't feel that you're actually genuine and being vulnerable. And I think part of you can't fake it in those type of industries. Like, you can't really fake it when you're kind of in the trenches like that, especially in a place like Philadelphia, where we have one of the biggest addictions in the country. So I think Mary has the chops to, and also I feel like Mary will be underestimated. I think, like, Say, like, I feel like people are going to see Say, they're going to know Say is there. But I feel like also she's going to be loyal and hopefully, put and connect. Mary's going to be, she's going to be there, but no one's going to take Mary seriously. But Mary will stab everybody in the front, chest, leg, and ankle. So I think both of them are going to be fierce competitors. So I'm putting them both on Team James. And as you can see, that I'm going with, I'm drafting the women.
Yeah, no, the Philly connection girls. Say's from Philly but lives in California, and Mary came from somewhere else and lives in Philly.
Correct.
All aboard on that.
Yes,
actually, speaking of, I just gotta say real quick, Say, man, as unhinged as Mary is, Say talks more crap on Twitter preseason than anyone.
See,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
because
God,
I think a lot of people don't understand is some people aren't like Survivor, like, into everything Survivor from a fandom standpoint. So like I didn't know about Survivor Twitter, what not to do, what do people like, people looking at preseason interviews. So Say is having fun, and I love it, yo. And she's from Philly, so I know she can talk, bark at her if you want to. She will bark back, So
that's the best way to do it. Seriously, if people are going to start yapping to you as fans, like people behind the keyboard, honestly, talk trash back.
You gotta have a
backbone. Way better. Absolutely. Like, I remember in 45, people were getting mad at like D because she voted out somebody or something. I don't remember what it was. And then she just quote tweeted him and said, "I'll vote out your mama next." And I was like, "Oh, amazing! Keep going, keep going at him." I mean, it helps when you're the winner, so you get to have a little confidence, but
you get bragging rights at the end.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like there was so much we would have said and done if we weren't so scared. I think
we were so scared and not talking.
Before. Right, but why was it that we were all scared and no other season was scared to speak out?
I feel like the seasons prior to ours might have been, and then 44 was so unhinged that they just like grouped together and be like, let's all just fucking do it. And if we all do, they can't get us all in trouble. And then since then, they've kind of set a precedent, and the producers realized it wasn't that big of a fucking deal, and now they're letting everybody have free reign, you know? And then realizing it gets you more press, which is like always the case, and they just like forgot that for some reason.
Yeah. I want to talk about something interesting before we move on, because I think James has great winner picks. Mary, I think she's got a lot going for her. I love that she's always going to choose strategy over emotion. My question is like, is she going to be able to do that out in the game? You know, she did say that she's scared her social game might be an issue, especially in this new era. And my question to you guys is like, with the game the way it is now, where like you don't have to be a challenge beast, you don't have to be the most strategic person. I mean, look at Kinsey, who came from like the worst tribe ever and was able to win the game. Do you think people are focusing now more on people that are very social and have a great social game, because they know that like no matter what kind of game you play, as long as you're liked in the end, as from a social standpoint by the people that are on the jury, you're going to win?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's something that is going to be in people's minds, especially from recent seasons. Like, that has been a big theme that we've seen. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is something that people are, I mean, I would be considering that if I was out there playing right now.
So you kind of don't want to be too liked. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking about, because I try to, like, I wonder how I would think about going out there if I didn't play 43 and I was just looked at all the seasons coming up. Like, how would I go about it differently? I think I probably would. You know, when, you know, you have, I think I probably would think about the game differently. I maybe would have targeted different people or things of that nature. So I think it is different. I think you have more information about the new era, what's happening. So you kind of do govern accordingly.
Yeah.
No, it seems like it's definitely a difficult balance, but there have been a lot of just super social players that have gotten there. I think the majority of winners has pretty much followed that way in the new era, or fell that way. Which is great. I mean, usually idols play factor, smashing some hourglasses plays a factor, but you know, you play the field you're on, and generally the social relationships are still the foundation of the game. So I think it's a great point, Lindsay.
Yeah.
All right, Cass.
Cass.
Speaking of awesome social person here, Cass, let's go.
What are you thinking? Am I? If I was an awesome social person, I think I would have gotten more than James's vote at the end.
No. Well, I was talking about how I think you're lovely, but I was in the game. Okay, that's one commentary, I suppose. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go with Charity.
Charity?
I'm sorry. First of all, she's a babe.
Yeah, major babe.
That shouldn't be the number. That's not the number one reason, but
that's my number one reason.
She seems cool and beautiful, and I have a crush on her. But I think that she has a likable personality. I do worry a little bit about, like, you know, the poverty archetype, but we've seen people win with that sort of like D1, and she kind of had that, like, so I don't think it's impossible. It seems like she's got, she's probably dealt with and worked around a lot of different people, being a flight attendant and a personal, you know, fitness coach. I think that she's probably had to work around and work with a lot of different personalities, which I think will benefit her in the game. And I like that she does some coaching and like runs a small business. I think that shows like some leadership skills and the ability to kind of like multitask and work different angles. And I think that she just seems cool, and I like her tattoos, and I just like her. So
she does seem nice. But the interesting piece of trivia about her, you know, in those preseason interviews, she said like she looks up to, or she would want to play like Jane. And I said, who the hell's Jane? And it was Jane from Survivor Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I was like, Jane?
Not sure I even remember Jane.
She was like, I don't know, like a 60-year-old kind of curmudgeon lady a little bit. I was like, what?
This is why she said it. She said she loved that Jane was out there, this like skinny, scrappy woman from a farm who wasn't willing to give up.
I remember her.
Yes. And so I think it's her tenacity that like Charity was really attracted to. And if you guys notice, like, this is probably the most amount of like COVID fans we've had in the new era of Survivor. I mean, I was shocked at how many of them were like, I either started watching in 2020 or 2022. Charity is actually like one of the players that has like at least 10 years of fandom under her belt, which don't get me
Mm.
wrong. Like, I actually love that there are some super fans and then not super fans, because I think it makes the game fascinating when someone like a Keith Nail comes out
Oh,
and
Keith.
doesn't have a lot of any
Mhm.
experience with the game. I think it makes it more fun to watch. But Charity is one of the more experienced Survivor watchers on the season.
Cool. I like that. And I think
Yeah.
that like picking somebody as random as Jane just shows her like knowledge of the game and her like. I think that I also like when players don't pick like the Boston Rob or the Poverty or like the more obvious choice. I like when they connect to like other players that you wouldn't expect. I just find that interesting in the way that they think and the way that they see themselves in the game and see themselves as a more unique player. So
I agree with that. I got to give her credit. Like, obviously, I still think it's a really weird deep cut that she went for Jane, but it is a deep cut.
Yeah.
And two, going all the way back to what Camilla said, it may sound like a hot take to say that Boston Rob isn't one of the best players ever. I think he's one of the best characters ever, but he was pretty miserable his first season out. So
Yeah.
Jane did way better than he did the first time.
I mean, she was like, it took him 4 seasons to win. It was Redemption Island, where nobody really knew how to play the game. He just kind of told everybody what to do.
He told them to hold hands so they didn't
Yeah.
walk away from each other.
Yeah, but they
That's
did it.
insane. Yeah, they did.
I mean, that's the insane part. And watching Traders. Are you guys watching Traders?
yes.
Oh, that's one
I
of the things I was
mean,
going to ask. I'm glad we're breaking into it. What are we
yeah, I
thinking?
mean, I can't believe they let him last as long as he did. And how did you guys not automatically assume from the very beginning that they would make him a traitor?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. That
They
was
forced him into the game. Two
Yeah.
attempts to get him into the game, basically. It was obvious.
yeah.
I mean, but is it too obvious? And that's the thing about these games.
Yeah.
It's great TV. Oh my God. No matter what, he just knows how to be a character to the camera. I mean, you all
I
have
just
done
love
it.
Alan. He's
He's the
fabulous.
best.
Alan Cumming. Oh.
Yeah.
His outfit this past week, little chess pieces in his hair.
So good. All of his outfits
good.
are so good.
Looking like
He's
Scary
incredible.
Spice.
And he's so funny, and I just love him. I want to meet him, like specifically.
Hey,
He
who
also
knows?
was in Josie and the Pussycats, which I feel like not a lot of people watch that or like know about that movie, but that's like one of my favorite movies from childhood. And he did play like a really just kind of slightly disturbing character in that movie, but that and then like he played in Spy Kids, and those are two of my most iconic childhood films. And so like I've loved him since then, and then just like seeing him again and like in this new setting, getting to see his personality and his whether it's his style or his stylist putting him in those, he looks amazing and he's really funny and cool. I like him. Love him.
Oh, yeah. First thing I ever saw him in was Nightcrawler in X-Men 2.
Wait, he's Nightcrawler.
He's Nightcrawler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love Nightcrawler. I love that like character in X-Men. So there we go. Another
yeah, Alan,
added to the list.
Get you a guy who can do both, right?
I love that.
All right, Lindsay. So back to back, we're gonna finish out round 3 and go into round 4. I have to say, I'll tell you all right now. Not that my opinion matters all that much, but my winner pick is still on the board. So I'm really intrigued to see who exactly is going to end up snapping them.
Are you going to tell us when we pick it?
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll set off a cannon or something. Yeah.
Okay, fair. All right, so I'm kind of annoyed because I told you guys I think this is going to be the season of alliances. I would not have picked this person individually, but if they had been teamed up with Charity and I could have gotten Charity as well, I would have picked these two people. This is not my pick, but I'm just going to tell you what my pick would have been. It was going to be Charity and Chrissy. I think they're going to hitch a ride to one another and try to go to the end together. But since I didn't get Charity, I'm actually going to switch up my picks. I'm going to go with Steph from the Woola tribe.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. She's like the witchy person.
Is she witchy? Oh my
She's
god.
a little witchy, a little bit
Love
like that.
that.
She dabbles.
Yeah. Yep. No notes, 10 out of 10. So we're gonna stick with her. And then I'm gonna go with what was my other pick? Oh shoot, hold on. Where is it? David.
David, chocolate milk man.
Interesting.
He was actually on my no list up until 2 seconds ago, and we're gonna go with him.
Yeah.
I love
My
that.
God. Surprised he wasn't on your hell no list. I didn't
Yeah,
think
he's
you were gonna
sort
pick
of on
him.
my hell no list.
I mean,
He was on my.
he's a cool guy.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't know.
I feel like one of his advantages
He's the
is
kind
that,
of man that I cross the other side of the street to avoid.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
That's so mean. I said I wasn't gonna be mean. I'm kidding. He was just like so ridiculous in his video. Like the ego, the audacity of men, I feel like is found in him, and we'll see how it goes.
I mean, most of his intro is flexing, you know.
Yeah.
I think it could be interesting though. So I think some maybe not having such a good grasp on the game is a good thing. Like, I mean, you know, if he, you know, someone like Kyle grabs him or Chrissy grabs him, and then you have a guy that, you know, is going to be a big target. Also, like, you know, be loyal for the most part, and maybe they're not thinking 25 moves ahead, you know.
Yeah,
very true.
And, you know, there's maybe a great, like, you know, partner, and those qualities that you know think may rub people the wrong way may be the reason why you want to take this person to the end. So I think he could have some staying power depending on how things crack.
That is
I
a fair
think-
point, James.
Yeah, I think him and Charity are going to get along really well. And he reminds me of, is it Sam that went to the end last year? I didn't think I'd like Sam, and I ended up loving him as a player. Did I want him to win? No, but yeah, like
Good old
I think I think he had a great, like a player arc, and he really came around, and I did like him. So I'm giving David the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to overlook my biases and hope that he does well.
I think that if he, sorry, I was really quick. I said, I think that if he doesn't actually take himself that seriously and he's like kind of being ironic or kidding, then I'm going to love him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
I mean,
Is
he
the
does
question-
stunts for a living. Like, how, you know, he's got to be a little loose and
That's true.
not take life
That's
too
true.
seriously,
That's kind of a
right?
cool job. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It is, but in my mind, I'm like, all right, it's more physical stuff, you know. It seems like it's with his brand, and the question is like, I think it can work, like you just said, where if he takes himself not super seriously, I'm sure he'll be super likable, and it can actually do pretty well. But the problem is like there's some folks that with his general makeup in the past, where like he'll come in and probably assume that his ideas are the best and don't really move off them. And that's where he's going to get in trouble big time. So hopefully he doesn't fall into that. That'd be a big mistake, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So I admit I'm very surprised by that, Lindsay, but not a surprise. That was not my winner pick. So far they're still on the board, and I'm super stoked. The longer it goes, because last year mine pretty much was, I think it was Andy, and Andy lasted to the last round. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes this go around too. All right, real quick. So actually, I want to go to season 50 for a hot second. Is that okay if I just pull that up super quick?
Yeah.
All right. So season 50, we're not going to talk about players, okay? We're not going to do that whole thing because potentially I could be talking to 0 to 3 players that are going to be on season 50. Who knows? But the biggest thing that was introduced a couple days ago, Probst announced, I guess, what's the official logo and theme. I hope to God he's lying. Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. Supposedly this is the real logo and the theme. I don't know. But so with that, it sounds like the reason why it's in the hands of the fans is because people are going to be able to vote on some key things. And a few of those things are tribe colors, rice or no rice, Fiji finale and reunion, or live reunion back in LA, and fire making. And I want to see some of the opinions on this. Obviously, we'll start with tribe colors. I mean, what's a color that has to happen? Come on, there's one. This is
a Lindsay question. Like this is like pure Lindsay. Like as far as,
I mean, I think you always have to have a blue. But here's the thing.
Blue's
I
good.
don't care. I think
I
voting
don't
for
care.
colors is super lame. I think it's actually really insulting to the fans because give me something more important to vote about.
So
Like
true.
if
Literally, who
like
gives a shit?
and Kelly
Fair.
Wentworth and I were talking about this yesterday. We were going back and forth in the DMs because she was like, I know, but try to be more positive. And I was like, then let us vote on the players. Let us vote on things that are really going to make a difference in the game if you
Mhm.
want us to have a say. But like very topical things like tribe colors, I honestly wasn't impressed. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to get back into like the survivor swing of things, but I don't really care.
Well, the correct answer is pink, but
Okay.
I like that too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like be Debbie Downer over here. Like
Oh,
James and
no.
Cass, what do y'all think?
No, not at all. I just want to say before James and Cass jump in, to be clear, I actually read an updated article where Probst said he mentioned the idea of voting for the players, and he said we've done that before, essentially dismiss it as boring. I'm like, I don't find it boring at all.
No,
I don't think that's why.
That's who the
I
fans want. Let the fans pick who they want to see, and they won't be
Yeah.
disappointed. You know, at least
So-
a lot of them.
I saw an article today that referenced Jeff said he wasn't going to get a 3 or 4 time playing contestant and have them get vote on. He didn't want to insult them in that way.
Yeah.
Suggesting that somebody that's played 3 or 4 times is going to be on season 50, which of course. But 2, I feel like it's similar to what they did with season 40. I mean, they knew that the only way they could get the players to come back was to guarantee that if they were to get voted off first, you know, your Natalie Andersons, your Robs, that they would still be making money for CBS by keeping them on the island and giving them a chance to get back in the game. And I think they also made it enticing for returning players to want to come back. You know, who wants to take off all that time?
Hey,
and
if
be
somebody's not
such a
enticed to come back, let somebody who wants to come back. Come
Yeah,
back.
like I feel like
Sorry,
if you
like I don't feel sorry for you if you have to be like begged to come back. Then don't fucking come back. There's plenty of players who want to come back that will drop their life to do it. So I'll just say that.
I think
And if you're
it was,
that like you're that over survivor, like you're that like elitist about it, like I've been there like so many times you have to beg me. It's like I don't know. I don't even know if I want to see you play, to be honest. Maybe that's me being a little bitter, but like that's just how I feel about it.
Their heart's not going to be in it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes I feel like, you know, like if the popularity thing is one thing, but then it's like also like playing the game. And everybody's been out there understands like there's kind of like things that happen, and you're kind of like sometimes the most popular players aren't the best players. And sometimes you put all the most popular players together, it may not make the best TV because you don't have those quiet strategic players that maybe don't get a lot of screen time, or because like, so I think that, you know, it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to do a good job, but I am interested to see, you know, who's out there for 50. But I feel like also if you're not willing to kind of just like drop everything to hop on the show, barring like, you know, family, job, emergency, then I don't know like how hard you really are going to play. Like,
absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
that's just kind of where it's at.
And I try not to throw shade about this because I don't really like the idea of throwing shade too much. I mean, it's called the Super Fun Type Show because I, you know, generally try to keep it light. But like one person I can say pretty candidly, I don't really want to see back that I think fits kind of the description James said is Ozzy. He's a name who always gets mentioned. Great challenger, but I just don't want to see him again.
Yeah. So I actually personally love Ozzy. I wonder, but I do think Ozzy is so far removed as in a different place now that it would be, I feel like it's kind of like, I feel like depending on how far back you want to go, like I would love to see like a Dreams like randomly pop up, like like people that you really, I mean, I that have been on the radar, maybe off the radar, but I mean, there's also the rest of 50 to kind of go back to the well if this is successful for CBS, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of their talent is going other places, and the reality world is only going to get like just bigger as we go.
True. It's because
why do you think they're not doing? Do you guys think they're going to do like half and half old school, half new school?
I don't know. I just want to get that call.
I feel like I heard that. I heard that rumor.
But that makes sense. If I feel like it makes sense. I mean, I feel like why not? Like, why not do 3 seasons of Survivor? Like, F it. You're doing 26 days. Like, 2 newbies, 1 old school. Like, 1 old people. Like, you know, they can do whatever they want to do with the production schedule. like at some point they had to kind of loop in another host at some point, maybe maybe two regular, then like a throwback, but maybe even a different host you experiment with. Like I feel like right now everybody is working with established brands just in general. Like there's remakes of every single cartoon from my childhood, that's coming back out now. So I think that kind of you kind of play the hits while the hits are still going.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a resurgence of some old school guys, Boston Rob and the Traders, Deal or No Deal Island. I mean, Dr. Will from Big Brothers on Deal or No Deal Island. They're throwing some OGs out there. So I get it, but I have to admit, like, I don't know if they're going to do old school versus new school, but part of me thinks that Jeff wants to also prove that the new era is the proper era right now, and maybe wants to see the new era players beat the old school players in the new era rules. Because I think it kind of proves his point about the changes and evolution. But that's how I read him.
But what if Jeff is actually right, being that he's been on the show since the inception and he thinks the new school is as harder than the old school? Like to play the game, maybe not to actually exist, but to play the game of Survivor. I think that's the one thing we kind of like. He says it's probably harder to play, not to live, and maybe people can, take Jeff for his word for some things. I know I do. So that's just my thought.
But there's two situations that might prevent us from ever figuring out the truth. Number one, is Jeff ever going to say that old school is harder? He's not going to say that, because then it devalues the game. And then if we get old school players playing the new school game, due to their pride, are they ever going to admit that old school's better or harder than, or that new school's harder than old school?
I mean, if they get voted off, I mean, I don't. It's kind of like when you put the winners at war, like they kind of. It's kind of like like the game, like kind of accelerated a little bit.
Yeah,
nothing's wrong with that. It's kind of like the Sixers. Paul George got a bad knee and B's out. The game passes you by. You got the limit. Like, okay, doesn't mean you're not great, but it's kind of like KD, Steph is great, but you got like the game is different a little bit, it's like I think it's kind of, everything, there's no superior or better. I think it's just both different and interesting, and everybody, can probably play either era, in my opinion, for the most part.
That's probably true, but I have to say, I think there's been a lot of old school players that have a very strong opinion that the old school game is significantly better.
I mean, it's
harder.
It's like back in my day, like, I think CDs are great. Like, I don't want CDs to come back, but they're not necessarily things evolve and change. And like, we're always going to look back with nostalgia and think that our time was better, whether it is or not. So when they say that, it's like, I get it. Like, I just think that like, that is a sort of a biased opinion in a way, but like, there's definitely stuff about old school that I miss, but am I being nostalgic? It's hard to say. I think it's like, things are just changing. And I feel like it is what it is, to try to like beat the drum of like this one's better, that one's better. It's kind of a mute point, because they're changing it no matter what, and there's really not a lot of control we have over it. So
no, and that's why I think Jeff maybe wants to get a situation set up where we can see you all literally pulverizing old school. Like the idea of, I don't know, we'll just use your example here, Cass. Like you watching Eliza walk to get her torch snuffed with other new era people sitting there still in the game. Like, I think that's a dream for Jeff right now, but that's just my perception of it. Cause I think he wants proof of concepts, and and rightly so. I think a lot of things in the new era are better, even though I myself as a fan have been resistant. I hate that people can lose votes. That it annoys the hell out of me, but everything else I'm actually on board for. I don't care about 26 days or 39. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel that other people feel a little strongly. But
I love old school, and I like, a lot of me wants it back, but I just know that like, no matter how much I say that, Jeff is so like gung-ho about the new era and the new changes that it's like, it's probably not going to change. And so that's why I'm just like, whatever. You know?
The only thing, so speaking of old school, to kind of tie in the Survivor 50 piece of it, is one thing that I hope we get to vote on, which is not one of the categories yet, is challenges. I'm praying he puts some challenges up for grabs. because the lack of physical challenges has really discouraged me. That's something you can pull from the old school and bring to the new era. Not everything has to be dragging something from the water and then finish a puzzle, right?
So true.
I don't think they're going to bring the physical challenges back. I mean, if
Why,
they
James?
did,
Why?
I don't know. If they I think they would have by now. I mean, I wanted those physical challenges, like, you know, like the pull somebody from a pole, like anything, because I do think physical challenges are definitely like about your physical fitness. Like it's kind of like there's like sometimes no strategy to overcome just brute strength. So
I like ones that even out the different like strengths that people can have.
I think that's it. I think it's a liability issue for them. I think they realize they've got too many great confessionalists and players that wouldn't benefit from a physical challenge.
I mean, it's kind of like, all right, like depending on how the team shake up, it's like you can go physical, but then it's like something me and Ryan versus like people. We're the two biggest people out there. It's like we would really hurt people. like I don't know how more people got hurt. Like I mean, because like
and I think that's. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like people were literally could get hurt. Like really,
I think that's the issue. When I say a liability, it's not just like losing players because of their weaknesses. It's losing players because of injury. I mean, I think they're so hesitant to have another medevac because of content, making sure they don't have to deal with not having a tribal council that episode. So I think for them, again, when they have to cut some things, this is one of the things they're willing to cut.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So then I'll add in, aside from the physical stuff, which, you know, sumo at sea, that's something I really want, but that may not happen. I'll just have to watch Australian Survivor for that. But for this era, there's challenges that have nothing to do with physical capabilities, like one called question and answer. It's basically you fill out a survey in private and then you answer the survey in public, saying like who doesn't deserve to be here, who do you trust with your life, things like that. And that's something that would cause potentially a lot of drama and tension and bring some stuff to light that I don't know why is not introduced.
That's a good. I feel like those games are the games that I like. I feel like you're seeing more of those games when you're watching other shows where people are playing an individual and group game, but then you're forced to make decisions amongst people where it's kind of like you can't. There's no kind of good decision where okay, I win, I get an advantage, but I need to, you know, knock a piece off of Lindsay's board, right? So now, you know, Lindsay thought I'm cool with everybody, but now I have to make a choice. Or you can choose not to try to kind of do something like that and you remain anonymous, but then you're at the whim of whoever's in power. So I think, you know, those things I think would be more would be interesting to see more of. But at the same time, as long as people is kind of equal, I don't really mind it either way. Like people are going to have inherent strengths and weaknesses, like in general with stuff. So
exactly, and I don't always want it to be so formulaic. So I'm fine with some favoring some versus others, like the hanging on the pole. I forget what it's called. Basically, you hang on it like a sloth. I mean, that's not going to favor someone probably like David. He's probably going to lose. It ends up being kind of like a smaller, daintier person, unless you're Ozzy, who seems to win it every time. So I'm into that.
I mean, I wanted a chess competition and they didn't put one in there, so you know
they should.
I think the thing that I love about the games that you guys were talking about, which is like you take a test in private and then you release the answers in public, is, you know, one of the biggest issues that I've had offline with Cass and James is my vote. And one of the common themes was like, we didn't know who was loyal to each other until the first tribal council, right? I think if you have the option to play these games, you have the ability to test trust with other people and loyal alliances before you have to go to tribal council. So I could definitely see an argument for wanting more of those games, because you can start to get a sense of like who's with you and who's against you based off of those people's answers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So for the sake of the draft, apologies. I got to get some side talk when I'm talking to some experts. What can I say?
No.
All right, so we're going to speed run through 4 and 5 here because I know we're running a little bit on time, but that's just because, we like to yap about Survivor. So Cass, pick 11, round 4. Oh, who's left down at the bottom? Who are you thinking? Actually, half of most of the tribes are left right now.
Oh my God. I'm like in between two people.
All right, is it going to be a guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the other girls I wanted to pick already got taken.
Actually, you know what? I'm on your side. There's only one female left that was in my consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So between two guys.
Okay. I don't necessarily think this person is going to win, although they do have a chance. I just think that they could get me some points.
Good strategy.
along the way. So, and I like them. I think they have a good energy. I think they're like a little bit quirky, which I think could lower their threat level just a little. Not too quirky, just a little bit. But still seems like intelligent and has worked with a lot of different types of people, would be good at arguments, is probably going to be a physical asset. So we'll probably make it to merge, and that person's going to be Kyle.
Kyle, my winner pick. There you go, Kat.
Yay!
There
I had
you
a
go,
feeling.
Kat.
I had a feeling.
Oh my gosh, I think this dude is going to set the game on fire. I think he's going to be everything people think Caleb should have been in 45. I think he's going to nail it.
Attorneys don't win the game.
Well, perceptions change, Lindsay.
There's always an exception to the rule, isn't there? There's always an
yes.
exception. So
I'm just giving you a hard time. I got to talk junk. At least you didn't take my pick this time.
Oh yeah, the big pick is still on the board, possibly.
Well, no, she took my other 3 players. So,
yeah. Wait, who were your other 3 players?
Well, you took Charity, and then Tom and Joe were on like my second tier. Yeah,
Lindsay, because we're synced up.
Oh, I know.
I was nervous you were going to take my players, to be honest. So
just wait.
I feel like I've gotten most of the people I wanted, which makes me feel good.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got James gets 2.
That means James going back to back here.
I'm kind of salty I don't get back to back though.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You get to play the middle. It's a sweet spot too. Yeah.
I am going to go. Ooh, I don't. This is purely just based on how I view how the game goes. I'm going Chrissy.
Chrissy was my hell no list. I'm not gonna lie.
Oldest person on the tribe, and they always make it to the top 5.
Statistics. You know what?
Yeah,
you're on to something.
I mean,
you didn't chat GPT did you do this? Did you?
I did not.
Like, based on statistics, tell me who I should pick.
I actually, that was my surprise for you guys.
I know you've got that brain, but.
Sorry,
Lindsay, what did you say?
That was my surprise for you guys. I was going after we do our winner picks. I was going to tell you who ChatGPT said the top 5 players for Survivor and who ChatGPTs think will win.
I mean, it's Team DeepSeek over
Lindsay
here.
Lindsay did it. I knew
it's Team DeepSeek over here.
Oh, actually, my players aren't on the list, so we'll keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one more pick. Hold my bad. I hope this person I don't think this person is going to win the game, but I feel like they're going to be able to smooth long enough until like the late game, and that's Cedric.
Okay.
I think Cedric's going to play the game that I wish I could play.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. So how do you think? You said he's going to smooth along. Is that by being under the radar? Or do you think he's going to be everyone's friend? What do you?
No, I just feel from like there's enough people like on the cast where I don't feel like he'll be perceived as a threatening person from a gameplay standpoint. Just, he's a dad, he's married. Like it's kind of like he isn't going to present the same type of obvious threat that some other people on the cast do. Like you look at Kyle, you're like, yeah, that's Wendell, right? Like there's no archetype of a Ced to compare Cedric to in Survivor, where you're going to look at him like he's a threat. Everyone else, there's someone out there that you can say, oh, this person is they're an older player, younger player. They play like this person. They're from Canada. Cedric doesn't have anybody where it's like, yeah, like this. I see, like who this person can be. So I think
There's
he
no
has a
box to
chance
put
to.
them in.
Correct.
I
exactly.
disagree. He's a
Ooh,
surgeon.
okay.
He's
like Gabler.
He,
You mean Diddler?
he's a butt surgeon though.
Did you say he's a butt surgeon?
He
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joe would call that a butthole surgeon.
Right.
Aw.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be fine. I feel like because it's kind of like at the end of the day, like there's going to be so many guys in front of him that you're going to want to target. That I think he doesn't have that physicality that the other like guys have on other tribes. So they're not. I don't think they're going to be. Oh, let's get this nice, caring fatherly figure who's probably not causing any drama and being straight up in front of you. Like I don't think that's going to be as threatening.
Well, it's something to speak of. First guy taken from the Vula tribe. Looks like the ladies are the ones that are holding that tribe up based on these picks.
All right, Cass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Round of 5. Mitch, Justin, Kevin, Eva, and Star.
Okay. This one is partially a personal pick, but I also think that he could do well, and I really liked him when I met him. I thought he was a very lovable person, and I think people are going to underestimate him, but I do think that he could do a really good job in the game if he gets himself set up with the right people. And I just I don't know, I thought he was a cool guy, and I'm excited to watch him play. Having met him originally, I think me and Owen met him in Austin, and he was just a fan of the show. I think he had been applying, but I don't think he had gotten serious callbacks yet. And then it turns out now he's on 48. So I think that's really cool to see that journey, to have met somebody who really wanted to play and then watch them get on is really fun. So obviously I've got to root for him. And I'm excited I think he's going to do a good job. And I honestly, I would have picked him earlier, but there was just some core people that I was nervous were going to get taken. And I don't know, either way, I really wanted him on my team. And so I'm glad that I was able to get him. And this is Mitch.
Okay. There you go. For a second, I was like, I don't know if Cass realized she hasn't told us who it is yet.
Yeah, sorry. I knew I had him, but I did a long lead up. And I feel like James and maybe done a long lead up at one point. So I felt like it was okay to do that. And now I'm getting flack. So
I think Mitch is a great pick. I know he in preseason, people didn't like his bold prediction. I don't think he meant anything by it. He seems like a sweetheart. He was just saying bold prediction. He thinks it's going to be the first time it's going to be an all-male final 3, which, by the way, if anyone's outraged by it, he has no idea. He has no idea what's going to happen. It's a baseless bold prediction. He's just trying to hype himself up getting to the final 3. Aside from that, everything else has been, like Cass said, he's been a sweetheart. So I'm a huge fan of his pick, or of this pick. I also am a huge fan of the Siva tribe in general. So,
okay. I don't think I'm offended by his all male final tribal because women are doing such a great job in the new era.
Do you know it's almost dead even? I ran the numbers. It was the average placement.
In what?
For a new era, for average placement between men and women. It's basically dead even. It was something like men average 9.2, so 9th place roughly, and women average something like 9.7. So somewhere between 9 and 10. I mean, it's still, there's a little bit of an imbalance, but it's pretty close.
I feel like men are respecting women's gameplay more, and they're recognizing women's gameplay more. And I think that has to do with the diversity with casting.
Yeah.
All right, it's my pick.
It's your pick. We're down to
my last 2.
The fabulous 4 here: Justin, Kevin, Eva, and Star.
Okay, so we have one that's just an obvious yes for me. He's been on my list for a while. We're going with Justin.
Justin, the pizza man.
Yale pizza man. Yale graduate pizza man.
That's right.
I'm going to overlook the fact that Tom Brady is his celebrity visitor out on the island.
We all have to have flaws.
Well, look, I actually was like, get the fuck out. And then he made a great point, which was Tom Brady's an incredibly focused athlete, and he thinks that Tom would be able to give him some great advice out there on how to like stay focused and in the zone and not let all the noise around him like distract him.
Man, Tom was willing to get divorced for the sake of the game. He's locked in.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with Justin.
All right, back to back. You going with another boy, or what are we doing?
No, I'm gonna even it out. We're gonna go with Eva.
Why I oughta?
I know. I actually had her on my no list, but I had all the remaining players on my no list. So Eva, she has a PhD at Brown. She's an engineer. She went to Georgia Tech and played on an all-men's hockey team. She has autism. I love that she said she's going to play like Lindsay in Survivor, like me, super strong and a challenge beast.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was talking about the other Lindsay.
I think both of those are accurate descriptions, though.
I mean,
I actually agree.
So
I would agree with the challenge beast standpoint. Yeah, Lindsay was a beast in it. She really wanted to do the challenges. Like, she was competitive. Like,
I know. I'm bummed that I couldn't compete with you guys in individuals. That would have been just so amazing.
Oh, yeah, Lindsay and I've chatted a few times.
If you would have just flipped that bamboo, I'm joking.
I know. Okay, listen. My only question is with Eva. I'm really worried that she isn't going to be as flexible as she needs to be out there on the island, and I think that might be what may not allow her to make it to the end. But I'll take her.
No, I think of the group that's left, I think it's a solid pick. Because my last pick is still on the board. So it's kind of working out as expected.
All
right. So then, Cass. So the exciting thing, Cass,
James,
is
question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say the exciting thing is whoever you pick forces James to take whatever's left. And I think I know a question you're gonna ask.
I was gonna ask, is the grenade still on the board? Because James knows.
I'm not answering this question.
You're no fun. That's not really fair.
Very much. I don't want anybody from CPS saying anything.
That's fair.
I have no idea.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Blink twice if the grenade's still on the board.
That's why I have my glasses on. I have no idea. Zero idea.
This could blow up in my face, or it could be a really successful pick. I don't know. It's kind of a wild card move, but seeing as there's only 2 players left, I'm gonna go with Star.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do it.
First of all,
Cass. I don't appreciate that move, Cass. I was hoping Star was going to drop to me. I was hoping.
Sorry, she's my shooting star. She's my like my dark horse, my shooting star. The one's gonna come out, kind of like the Carolyn, where it's like super erratic, kind of intense energy, but then she makes it to the end, and maybe she'll win this time. So. I don't know. I'm like, I also am a very like love the cosmos, love the spacey shit, and I like the name.
Someone named Star is going to speak to you right away.
I mean,
so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Man,
she'll be fun either way. She'll be a very entertaining watch, and it'll be fun to root for her on my team.
All right, let's write it down.
So
James, that leaves you with Kevin. What do you think?
I'm happy with the Kevin pick too. I mean, I met or saw. I don't know if I saw most of the cast in New York at the CBS event. So being able to gauge energy, I feel very confident about my picks. But everybody's actually rather great. Like everybody's nice. Everybody is dope. By the cast that I met. I think the one thing that you do,
I feel like this is insider trading, to be honest, James.
No,
Martha Stewart over here.
Just I do love Star's energy, and like Star is one of those people who has swag and juice. Like, like you just, it is not the type of swag and juice that I think you get from the video. Star is. So I feel like it's going to be interesting. I think this cast is going to be a lot, not different than what they seem, but I think they're going to give you a lot of layers that you maybe didn't know you were missing or thought you knew with the people that they cast. So I'm excited to see kind of how the season plays out.
Well, so how do you think the swag and juice is going to fit in with the Loggy group here?
I just feel like, I mean, I actually truly don't know, but I just know Shaheen has like a lot of people has you. Like David, like everybody has their own energy. Like I'm excited to see. I feel like a lot of times people look at it and say, "Oh, this person has a big personality of the tribe," but that's not the person with the big personality in the tribe. And I think this cast is going to deliver on that.
Well, I certainly hope so. I think there's a lot of personality that we have lined up at the bottom here. The tribe construction, I think, is going to be super interesting. It seems like they've done a good job of spreading these folks out, including you all. You've done a great job of spreading your picks out. Although James didn't pick anyone from the Logi tribe, which I think is
I didn't pick any green.
You didn't pick anyone from the Vula. And Lindsay, Lindsay peppered the field a little bit here. She's got a little bit of
I don't normally do that, though. I normally like hitch a ride up to like 4 from one tribe. But it actually works in my favor because even if I lose like one person from the tribe and they suck and they just keep going to tribal council, I've got more players.
I mean,
last year, I can read it to you right now. Last year, you went heavy on Gata. You got John Lovett, Sierra, Rachel, and Andy.
Yeah. Dang. Let's go, Lindsay.
And the other piece you had with Genevieve
Rachel
and
Andy, and I still didn't win.
Wow.
I lost by 1 point.
You had the grenade,
and you had Genevieve.
Yeah.
How bad were your first few picks?
John Lovett.
Yeah.
Which I stand by. And who was my other one that went out?
Rome and Sierra.
Yeah, but honestly, he was my saving grace because if he had gone out earlier, I wouldn't have done as well.
Yo, I really want to start.
You really want to
trade? You should have picked her earlier.
Want to trade?
Man, I hope James is lying to you right now and Star is the first one booted.
And she's a grenade. That's him telling me without telling me. It's all right. She'll be my shooting star.
That's the hope, at least.
From the first episode. But
I can't wait. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the draft. I really appreciate it. The picks here are amazing. Kevin being the last pick, I appreciate it because if you're fans of the channel, you know that I have a Kevin watch going on. It's called Don't Fuck It Up for me, Kevin, because I'm the only Kevin. I wanted to be on the show, but unfortunately you beat me to it. So now you're representing all of us. So
first Kevin ever?
First Kevin ever.
That's wild. That is
I was the first of my name as well, so I think.
Cass,
there was a Cass, but she's
like, that's another false.
That was with a K.
Cassidy's, if she even is a Cassidy, which I don't think she is, Cassidy's with a K are very different. I almost don't even consider us the same name because we're very different people.
These facts, these Cass facts.
Anyways, love that Kevin is there rooting for you.
I am. It's like a negative reinforcement. Basically, don't fuck it up. I want you to do well. I'm gonna be on you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate the CoCo crew here. It's been an amazing time chatting. Lindsay, James, Cass, and hopefully we can regroup in the middle of the season and really talk about where we're at and maybe trash talk a little bit. James is going to probably reveal that, he bamboozled Cass this whole time and it'll be fun to revisit. Who knows? Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. You take care, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
So that's me.